The next stop was Lie-Nielsen Toolworks, a firm that has become synonymous with fine woodworking tools. Manager Sarah Ewing was kind enough to take a break in her day to give me a tour of the factory.
So we've been going for almost 30 years. We do a variety of hand tools. We've got bench planes, block planes, chisels, saws, smoke shapes. We make floats commercially. A lot of times when people think of a factory where between 60 and 70 people, they think of, you throw in a bar of metal on one end and out comes a plane on the other end, and that's not at all who we are. We have an enormous amount of handwork that goes into our tools, and you're going to see that out there. And besides doing as much of the lean manufacturing sorts of things as we can do, we use what we call appropriate technology, meaning if something requires precision and repeatability, we're going to use a CNC machine. If it's the look we're after, we're going to do as much handwork as we can. So there are a lot of tools, like the shoulder planes, that have an interesting curve to them. The profile can't be just sanded on a belt. It has to be hand sanded, and all of that's done by eye.
If you have a set of Lie-Nielsen chisels, there's a good chance that Scott is the man who did the final sharpening. Sarah pointed out the hornbeam handle.
Material that was often just thrown in the pulp pile. It's not a wood that's used for many things today, but it's extremely tough. It used to be known as ironwood. If you ever wonder how big power companies move transformers along on rollers, this is the kind of wood they'll use. If they use wood, it can just take an incredible beating, but it's very lightweight. So we have the loggers throw those in a special pile for us now. Ourselves, but our iron castings are done in Maine and our bronze castings are done in New Hampshire, and everything else is as local as possible. We do all the woodworking here. Okay. So our handles, knobs, all of that is done in the house. We also do a lot of what we call hand-to-hand work, where somebody will do one process, hand the piece to the next person, and they will do that process. We'll do as many pieces as we can in the first quarter of the day, give it to assembly, have them assemble a tool, and then they will let us know if there's any problems. If there are, they're addressed immediately, so we don't sell seconds. Everything is your first rate tool. We catch the piece by 9 o'clock in the morning at our first break. Our saws are made by one person. Our bench plane's the biggest group, I believe it has 5. So every day they're making a new tool, they're doing a new activity, so I don't think anybody in the shop really has the opportunity to lose track or be bored, you know? And then we'll heat treat, and I'll show you that in the next room. And what happens in this room is mostly the final grinding, which is on the bevel, edges on both sides. Rough the edges, and then they'll hand tone them. See the difference there between a rough casting and a machine casting. Down there, and then tempered again.
I actually write the G code to make these parts. I should say that's what you start with. Moves on to this stage, and this is the finished product of the 17-inch tail butted body. Instead of this being a separate part from the body, where actually screwed on that comes on screw heads, change the design to be one piece. It's a lot more rigid, stronger, higher quality, so constantly improving and making better products.
Well, you can feel the pride and enthusiasm that Cole has in his making of these tail pieces.
This is where we ship wholesale and retail.
Sarah said that if you throw a dart at the map of the world, you're likely to land on a Lie-Nielsen customer. That's easy to believe.